On my last cruise, a Windstar Fjords cruise, I posted clips on Instagram of the best, most popular event of the entire cruise. It immediately ignited a fiery, lively and very divided debate about if the event was even a good idea and should have taken place at all. So it got me thinking about other things that I talk about on social media or in my videos that spark really heated debates and where cruises definitely fall into for and against camps with very few people on the fence. So let's find out where you stand on these right now, because I suspect that, like me, your stand is shifting as we face a really changing world of cruising. So what was that popular event that wound up so many cruises? The Crew Talent Show. Cruisers who are pro the Crew Talent Show argue that it's a chance for the crew to connect with passengers, showcase their skills, or importantly, their country. Now, on that Windstar trip, there were several crew members, for example, that asked me to go to the show, like my waiter Mark. He wanted me to hear what a great singer was, and he was. And then Anna, who was another waiter, who was so proud that her and other Indonesian crew were going to be showcasing their traditional Indonesian dances. However, those against it argue that crews seem to be kind of pressurized or made to do these. And it's really a way that cruise lines are cutting back on entertainment costs, adding more duties, adding more responsibilities onto an already overworked crew because they have to rehearse and perform after their normal work is finished. So where do you stand on that one? Personally, I feel it's putting extra work and demands onto the crew, and they kind of seem a little bit unnecessary, and they do make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Now, a few cruises before that Windstar cruise, I was on Holland America Amsterdam, and I posted a series of towel animals that my cabin steward had made for me during the trip. This too, I saw, erupted and totally divided cruises. Many people were leaving comments saying they're fun, they bring a smile to their face, they're a great little treat. You know, it's great when you come back to the cabin at the end of the night and you've got the great little towel animal there. Now, other people argued really strongly these are a waste of overstretched cabin steward time. They should be left to focus on cleaning and service. And it's also, importantly, environmentally unsound these days because it's basically creating unnecessary additional laundry, which when you magnify it around the number of these made, it's crazy. They argue that, you know, if you're really interested, some lines run classes on how to make them and just leave it at that. Make your own, as it were. So where do you stand on this kind of long cruise tradition? Now, I like them, but this is one where with crew I feel under so much more pressure. I now generally tell my steward to skip making them for me. Am I just being a bit Scroogey? Another topic where my view is definitely evolving is around dress codes, but not around whether there should or shouldn't be a dress code, but more importantly, the enforcement of dress codes if there is one. Now, on that Windstar cruise, enforcement wasn't an issue at all because there really wasn't a dress code other than there was kind of a request, you know, don't wear shorts, distressed jeans or scruffy trainers to the main dining room. But it wasn't a rule as such, so you kind of could do what you want and people did what they did. However, when I was on Cunard recently, lack of enforcement created a lot of tension and a lot of angst. Now, Cunard do have a really clear dress code, and it's the reason that many people choose that line because they want the gala nights with the ship full of men dressed in tuxedos or black suit and tie. They want ladies in fancy dresses. They choose it for the evenings when the whole ship is kind of transformed into this kind of glamorous day of ocean liners, you know, of the past. Now, in the past, Cunard strictly enforced the code. You know, when I've been on before, they would turn people away from the restaurants if they weren't following the code. But in my last two cruises on Cunard, it definitely was not strictly enforced. And so gala nights across the ship was much more kind of mixed dress and people in a wide range of things, including even shorts. And I could see those people that had chosen the line for getting dressed up were getting really wound up. Now, if I look at Facebook groups for luxury lines such as Silver Sea and Seabourn, I can see many posts with lots of people frustrated that the smart dress code that those lines have isn't being enforced. They argue they chose those lines because they want a certain, I guess, sophisticated dress experience in the evenings. Now that people just basically say, you know, get over it. People have paid the same as you for the trip. They should be able to dress as they want to on their vacation. And how is somebody else, you know, dressing a certain way affecting how you enjoy your meal? So where do you stand on enforcement of dress codes? Should dress codes be enforced if they have one or not? Now, as someone who likes the dressing up, I'm thinking if there is a dress code, don't enforce it. Or if you don't want to enforce it, then basically do what Winstar do and just have a suggested attire and just let people get on with it. What do you think? A recent video of mine I knew would and did get a lot of comments and very divided views, as this is a really hot topic these days because more and more lines are creating and introducing these. I went on an MSC Virtuosa Norwegian fjords cruise a couple of weeks ago, and I booked in the Yacht Club, which is their kind of premium ship within a ship. This is a controlled key, you use your car to get in there. It's a controlled area. It has the suites, a dedicated lounge and bar. It's got its own restaurant, a concierge guest services desk, a beautiful deck with a swimming pool, hot tubs, a buffet grill out there, and it took up quite a big part of the ship. I've also been on Celebrity Edge and Silhouette, where they've got the Retreat, which is similar, close-off area with all of this, again, for suite guests. Many lines, including Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, and even now Princess with their new class of ships, also have these kind of ship-within-a-ship areas. Some cruises absolutely love them because they say they can pay extra. They can then tap into the buzz, the facilities, the shows a big ship offers, but then they have a place to retreat and get away from the bustle, the lines, the noise, and the crowds, which, to be honest, on a ship like MSC Virtuosa, which carries 6,000 people, it absolutely did that. However, detractors feel lines are basically bringing back the old class system, first, second, and steerage. And they're treating regular fare paying passengers really poorly because they're closing off increasingly larger and larger parts of the ship to guests. And they're cramming regular fare guests into progressively smaller general access areas. Now, some of the newer ships coming out, like Norwegian Prima and Viva, it does look like a significant part of the ship is being closed off for the haven kind of facilities. So where do you stand on the ship within a ship? Now, I must admit, I have really liked it when I've been able to afford them, but I do have a real sense that I'm missing out and being a little bit shortchanged when I'm not. The next big one I want to talk about is muster drills. This topic really only became divisive post the shutdown because when cruising was kind of starting up, to avoid creating crowds, many muster drills shifted from being done in person, us all together, and shifted into us watching the safety video on our smartphone, a tablet, or the television in the cabin. And then at our own leisure, we could go and check in at our allocated muster station. Several cruise lines, including Disney at the time of recording, have now moved back to the full in-person muster. Now, the style of muster divides cruises these days, and people have really, really strong views about these. And a few months back, when I was on a Regent Seven Seas cruise, they actually dropped the e-muster for my cruise and moved to an in-person muster. And I have to say, it was pretty shambolic. It was very drawn out and it didn't flow very well, which did get me kind of wondering if it kind of confirmed the point that those that are against the e-muster and for an in-person muster make that you need these because the crew and passengers really need to know how it all works. And if you want to keep ships safe, you need to go back to this in-person muster. Now, those who are against it and argue for the e-muster say, of course, it's quicker, it's simpler, you can get on with your vacation the minute you get on board, and you still have done enough to know the process, including you do have to know where your muster station is. So if there's an emergency, you know where to go. So where do you stand on this one? I have to say, I personally prefer the new approach. I find it easy, I find it convenient, and I kind of feel that I do know where my muster station is, and that should be enough. But am I being too blasé on this one? In the comments, let me know how you feel about any of these topics, and importantly, if there's other things that you think I've left out that are very divisive at the moment. Now, while you think about that, why don't you watch this video where I talk about unnecessary costs that we can all avoid, starting with the biggest cost we should all probably skip. See you over there.